Hey, Bloodline Sports, Bloodline Baseball here. We are happy to be joined with Eric Doble, the owner, commissioner of the Arizona Collegiate Wood Bat League. How you doing, Eric?
Good. How are you guys?
Great. And we obviously have Coach Macario here from California.
How you doing?
How you doing,
Nice to
Coach?
Uh,
meet you, Eric.
yeah,
You as
Nick.
well?
Nick couldn't make it, but we want to say hi to Nick. He said he'd be watching a little bit later, so we're just going to talk about the league and all the new great things that are happening and how long it's been. We're just going to get the history of it and talk a little bit. But I'll ask Eric right now, just get a little background on his background, his personal background, and his playing career, where he played high school and played some college ball. So let us know about you, Eric.
Well, perfect. Well, I graduated in '97, Casa Grande. That's I don't know if you're not familiar, but it's halfway between here and Tucson. Had a pretty good squad. A couple guys went to Division One schools, and I really didn't have any offers until very late. And then Grand Canyon came in, and I wasn't too fond of going to Grand Canyon just because I thought, oh, I wanted to go to one of the bigger schools. Gave me a pretty good scholarship. Went there. Actually, was a Sunday starter as a freshman.
Nice.
I didn't do very well, and it just wasn't for me. There was no football team. It's not like it is now, where that place is immaculate and everyone wants to go. And it was a great experience. Had great teammates. It just it wasn't for me. So after my first year,
I'm sorry to cut you off. Were they Division One yet, or were they still?
Oh yeah, yep. So they were Division One the last year, and then after that year, they went to Division Two.
Okay.
Or Division Two, because that's when they dropped to the next.
Yeah, they were NAI, then they went, and that's when they would play Lewis and Clark every year for the national championship.
Right. Then we were in the WAC.
Yeah, they thought they'd put the big boy pants on and go D1.
Yep. Yep.
And didn't work so well. Went back to D2.
I know. Yeah, it was an experience. We played at Hawaii, played San Diego State. Tony Gwynn was the coach.
Nice.
Fresno State, we faced Weaver. Not Jared Weaver, and it was actually the playoffs. He struck out, I think, 19.
Or no, it's older Weaver, right? Jared went to Long Beach.
Yeah, Jeff Weaver. And just that slurve that he had, that nasty. It was guys couldn't even touch it. So we went 2-0 in the tournament, but it was a great experience. It was cool to be D1, going to Hawaii, going to San Diego, and the competition was pretty good. We played Berkman at Rice. So anyhow, going back to wanting to leave, it just wasn't. My high school was bigger, as in students, and I like to be social around, and it wasn't for me. So I'm like, you know what, I'm going to transfer and go back to go to CAC, which I was originally going to do, and then I had U of A and ASU calling me at the same time. I'm like, all right, this is kind of cool. So made a decision to go to ASU. So my sophomore year, I started there. Wasn't very good again, and I'm thinking, you know what, I'm out of here again. Coach Murphy was my coach at the time. Stapleton was over at I take that back. Stapleton was my pitching coach. It was Gil Stafford, at Grand Canyon. I think Stafford stayed for another year, then Stapleton took over. So anyhow, I went to ASU. Like I said, it was terrible. The environment's tough. It's definitely something. You got to have. You got to have a mindset where it's like I can't be beat, because it didn't mess around. That was the -5s, where you jam someone and it's a home run. That being a pitcher wise. So then I thought, okay, I'm out of here. And at the time, Murphy and I didn't get along. Like, he brought me in. He was upset with me that I wasn't playing to my potential. And I said, you know what, I'm out of here. So I thought, okay, I threw against Fullerton. Maybe I'll go there. Instead, I stuck it out and just worked out, threw a lot in the summer, got stronger, and actually came back, and my velocity picked up from mid-80s to low 90s. Back then, it was actually good compared to the upper 90s now. And kind of fell into the closer role, which, so my junior year, I was a closer, and I couldn't. That was the best thing to ever come into. So closing role is way better than starting to me, better than relief. It's like I wanted every game to be within 3 runs so I could get a save. So ended up going to not to be long on this, but we ended up going to regionals. had Texas beat, and then they came back and beat us twice, and they ended up going to the World Series.
Yeah.
So that was pretty devastating. We had a very good team. And then I got drafted by the Red Sox in the 10th round. Decided, you know what, I'm doing okay. I've got all the scouts looking at me. I'm supposed to be in the top few rounds the next year. I'll come back. Unfortunately, had a shoulder problem, because all fall I didn't throw at all. So I think that's really something that came back and said, you know what, I should have thrown. I should have kept that throwing, because I came back and I lost. I was low 80s, and I didn't know why. But I think I tried to ramp it up, and then I had impingement, had a bone spur, and then I had a slight tear in my labrum. So I didn't know that until I signed free agent with the Royals, played with them for a short season. And then after that, I got released, found out I had have to have shoulder surgery, and then basically it was over. So then I went to CAC, coached for a couple of years trying to do rehab. And that's when I kind of segue into how I took the league.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, sticking to that topic, it's been on my mind. I pitched in high school like we all did, right? And Little League and all that stuff. But I even threw a couple innings in college. But, you know, I look at it as you're using certain muscles to do anything in activity of sports. And when we were growing up, and maybe it started changing because I'm about a decade older than you, is the pitchers just ran the long distance. And I got an exercise science degree, and I started thinking, like, well, why, when you run long distance, you build up your slow twitch muscle fibers.
Yep.
And pitching baseball in itself is a fast twitch game.
Correct. Yep.
Why are we working our slow twitch muscles? We have to have bursts. And if you take all that time off, like you said, and you go out there, and of course the adrenaline can hit, and you're trying to check your velo, and if you haven't worked those muscles religiously, and it's not like you have to throw every day like a Bauer does, right? He throws 330 days a year, but I really think taking time off, it's needed, but too much, and especially these guys are taking it off like right before the season starts, and it blows my mind.
I agree with you too. I mean, I get it. There needs to be rest and the pitch count. I understand that there's, philosophy behind it, but I mean, just like you said, we were growing up. It was, if you weren't throwing, it's not going to be. You're not going to end up to where you want to be. And I would remember in high school when, okay, I'm just going to take a week off and not throw. Come back and my bicep was like on fire just because it wasn't used to it. You know, and then you still try and go out there, and I mean, it was almost in tears trying to throw because your arm wasn't used to it.
Yeah, and these position players, they don't. They're gym rats. These guys are all gym rats now. They don't miss leg day. They don't miss their forearm curls. Right. They don't miss their long toss. So what's the difference?
Correct. Right.
And I think as for a pitcher, it's to burst. Yep. I mean, I think position players have it a little bit easier because you're bursting, especially starting pitcher. You're bursting 70, 80, 90 times
absolutely
in an outing. That you need to be ready physically to do that.
100%. And I get the endurance at long distance too, for the endurance for the longevity of it, right? So I get that part too. But I get what you're saying 100%. Yeah.
So Eric, I just want to say I love the fact that you talked about, because we stress to our kids going to the right place, not just going to a place.
Yep.
And I like how you talked about Grand Canyon wasn't for you. You went through all this adversity because I think they think, I'm going to get a scholarship. I'm going to be freshman of the year. I'm going to have a 4-year career. I'm going to get drafted. And I think it's a mental grind. Well, I know it is. And I like the fact that you said I didn't know about this school. I love my teammates. And then my arm was hurt. And there's these ups and downs that they need to be prepared for, that it's not all going to be perfect. And it's a mental grind and a physical grind as well.
Oh, I mean, it's even with the school part, with the being away from home, there's so much to it. You're trying to find a way to eat correctly. I mean, it gets to you. It definitely wears on you. And you have a bad outing. You have, you go 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. You think, why am I doing this? You have a slump. You've given up 10 runs in 2 innings. It's like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. But that's where the mental part comes in and says, you know what? Hey, it happens to everybody. I mean, as we all know, you're a successful hitter in the major leagues, getting out 7 out of 10 times.
Yep.
You're a Hall of Famer. If you do that for a career, so, and it's tough. Yeah, you're right. You're coming at 18. You're still a kid, but you're an adult. So it's definitely.
And I'll tell you, my son eventually, he was going to go to Nebraska, and he decided to stay here and play at Scottsdale, and he redshirted, and then he ended up going to Nebraska. But one of the things that I'll never forget, and one of the reasons we picked the school was the coach, because I have to think of this guy as another dad for my son.
Oh, 100%.
And that was a huge part of the decision making on my end. And was my son going to be able to go in the middle of the country away? Yeah, he's fine. But was he going to get the right care and one-on-one that I think every coach should have? But one of the things he said when we were on the recruiting trip, and he said, I'm going to tell you right now, Jackson, he said, the people that you decide to hang out with the first semester of your freshman year is going to greatly have an impact on your success here.
Big time. Yeah, absolutely.
You got to surround yourself with the right people, get the work done. And it was like, and that's the stuff I've been preaching to him my whole life. But when to hear it from someone else, and I was like, yep, this is where we're going. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And even with me, I was 45 minutes away from my home. Still hard. I mean, I can imagine going to, the middle of the country and not really knowing anything. So I look at the guys that did come in, these schools to ASU when I was there, Grand Canyon, and it's like, man, you came all this way, sight unseen, basically, and not knowing anything, and you're successful. I think that's amazing that kids can do that. So
and some kids can't, and
some kids can't, right?
And you have to know that, but. Yeah, my son being born and raised in Arizona, they actually closed school down last week because of the snow.
That's crazy. Yeah.
He's like, "This is awesome, Dad."
See, I know, because we're not used to it. We're like, this is cool. This is awesome.
Never had a snow day, so
that's awesome.
But let's get into what we're here for, to promote this Arizona Collegiate Wood Bat League. I just let you know, I've coached the last 2 years. You guys watching out there, and it's a great league. It's great talent, but I'm going to hand it over to Alex. He's going to conduct the interview, and we'll go back and forth. We got some good questions for Eric, and hopefully get you guys a little bit more educated on what the league's about and what kind of talent we have out there. And so go ahead, Al.
All right. So, Eric, I know the beginning of the league had some ASU ties, or completely started by ASU. But tell me kind of the history of when it was started, how you got involved, and eventually how you took it over.
Okay. Yeah. As far as I know, I think Grand Canyon had it, and then it went back to ASU, and I think back and forth. And then to go back, I remember playing in it back in 97. That's when ASU had it. Competition was awesome. It was like 6 teams, right? It was only Arizona guys.
Yeah.
Played in it, and then I went to Alaska for a year. But I just loved playing it because I think I played in it for 3 years. Went to Alaska for 1 year because it felt like, you know what, we're here to get the work done. It's not always about winning. It's like, hey, I want to get my ABs in. I want to get quality innings. It's not here to appease to the crowd that doesn't know anything about you. Your family's there. So anyhow, it's going back to 2002. I ended up coaching the league, and then after 2 years, I was at Central Arizona, and I would coach in the summer league. That's when ASU had it, and then that whole thing that happened with the NCAA violation, they could no longer have it. So they asked me to take it over, which, was perfectly legal because no one else was allowed to have it. And they said, okay, we'll figure out what we're going to do. Then we'll take it from you and just run it for us for now. So nothing happens. So anyhow, everybody went separate ways. Murph, unfortunately was let go, which I'm a big fan of Murph. So I love the guy. I still talk to him this day. So, anyhow, after that all happened, I talked to the baseball operations guy that gave it to me. And I said, hey, what do you want me to do? He's like, well, you could just keep it and do what you want, or, we'll find something. I said, that's a great idea. I think I will kind of keep, this is kind of cool, right? So it kept me involved in baseball. I would coach in it as I ran it the first year. And then it started getting to a point where I'm like, you know what? Why am I just keeping this just to Arizona guys? And it was like I said, it was like 6 teams. Finally, I started saying, you know what? Let's open this up. If people want to come in, you have to find a place to stay. It doesn't, you can come in with your roommates that you went to school with. So it started expanding to about 10 to 12. Then it became, the word got out, which was cool. So guys were coming in, they were getting their own places. We would set up some host families, which is tough to do here just because everybody's gone this summer and just no one's really used to that like these small towns. So just as it kept going and going, after about 10 years, it got up to about 12, 14 teams. And then there was a time that we had 31. And that was so hard to take care of. So, I mean, the good number for us is anywhere from 16 to 22. I mean, we've had it where it's in the 20s for multiple years. It's just hard finding fields. And, if you spread it out too much, then, the competition becomes a little watered down. I mean, and it comes down to what we always said we were talking about earlier, it's the pitching. Pitching is the big problem. So yeah, I've been doing this this is my 20th year coming up. So been doing it 19 years. This will be year number 20. And every year I learn something new. And, bringing you guys in, had some great ideas. And I think this is going to be an awesome little marriage here. TJ's been great. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're excited. I think I played, I'm trying to think, it was 90 was the first year I played in it. It was just Grand Canyon and Arizona State.
Right.
I want to
just
say
local guys, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep.
And it was about 3 or 4 nights a week. So it was like that. But one of the things is then, go almost 30 years later, I'm coaching. And 2 years ago, my team was primarily graduating seniors that were going to college.
Right.
And we were playing Monday through Friday with you.
Right.
And man, I'm telling you, a week and a half in, these kids were like, what are we doing?
It's like this. We're not used to this.
Every night, 110 degrees. And like, guys, do you have any idea what you're getting into? I mean, for me going like back then, and Alex is a year younger than me, and he played junior college in California. But, I played at Dobson and Mesa. We had 22 games that year. Yep. And then the next year I'm at Phoenix and we played like 65 games.
Oh, yeah. You're just like, whoa, what is going on here? Yeah, right. And you love it, but it's at the same time, it's like, man, this is something I'm not used to. I mean, the travel's tough. So this is a good example of how, hey, this is an everyday thing. So
very cool.
Great. So kind of TJ talked about what his team is comprised of, but what are what players are eligible to play in the league as far as age or where they're at in school or what?
So our main focus is to have college guys, incoming freshmen. I mean, there's been some high school players but we weed them out. That ones are saying, oh yeah, I'm going to be starting and I'm a junior. As long as I hate to say that we can bring all sorts of high school kids in because it's not fair to the college guys. But there is some, as long as they can compete, we're okay with that. But majority of the guys are incoming freshmen in college and then college guys. And we even have graduated seniors that are still trying to continue on. So they're still technically eligible because we are not, how to say this, when you have the summer league to go to Wichita, we're not sanctioned that way. So we don't have to follow the rules that they do. We have to follow the rules to where you can't have a certain amount of guys on a team. Your coach can't coach you. But I did that for a reason because we were never going to go to Wichita because that's a lot of work, a lot of summer, and then going there and then to be able to change some of the rules that we do. So that's kind of where we're at.
Okay, and I imagine you find out pretty quick if they can play in the league.
Or not. Yeah. They weed themselves out too. They're thinking, okay. Yeah. Some try to linger on, and it's like, you know what? Hey, this isn't for you. And we mentioned that too. We bring it up to parents that call and say, hey, my kids, this and that. Like, well, here's the deal. I mean, if we don't want you to come in here, waste your time, your money, and then he doesn't even sniff, any part of the field because he's just outmatched. So we definitely tell them, and because we're not here to just, hey, take your money and like, see ya. We want it to be a great experience. We want them to get that, the whole field to play in and excel their game. So that's our main focus here.
Very cool. All right, so we mentioned it a little bit. Some of the new elements that have been brought up as far as incorporating into the league. Heard talk about an all-star game, a home run derby, an all-summer team. You mentioned you've done one or two of those things in the past. How did they work out, and what are we looking forward to here this summer?
That's I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, we had it. Man, I want to say it was. I think I had it 3 times. So did it at ASU. Goose Ghostwich, which is my uniform guy, and he's been my uniform guy from day one. He was the grounds at ASU while Murphy was still there, and we were able to get in there and do the home run derby and the all-star game, and it was awesome. I mean, the place filled up. We had scouts all over. We had guys, get picked up out of there. So how we did it was, I think we had a certain amount of guys. I think it was 12 guys on each team, or 18 guys, 18 position players, or 16 position players. So they all played half the game. And then we had 10 pitchers. Everybody threw an inning, and then we played an extra inning. So everyone got to throw. So it worked out phenomenal. Every game was close. Everybody was competitive in it. And it was just awesome. So looking forward to getting back to that. It's the intention's always there, but as the league gets going, so many different parameters come in and this and that, and it's so hard to get things under control. And by the time it's there, like, we didn't get the field to do this, and we want to. So,
right.
But that's the plan. And TJ, we're talking about that, and hopefully he's going to jump in and help out, and I'm all for that, and it'd be awesome.
Yeah,
it is fun.
We got the venue set up. We're going to keep it under wraps right now till it's official, but we're excited where this event's going to be held. We'll have the home run derby and then go right into the all-star game. I mean, I'm thinking hundreds of people there. We're going to have scouts there, pro scouts, college scouts. So, and it's a great thing is, majority in the 2 years I've been coaching in the league is I've noticed a bulk of the league are junior college kids because they're here and they're looking to hone their skills and go somewhere. So if you're a JUCO guy and you haven't committed yet, and you make the all-star game and the scouts are there and you do your job, I mean, you might get signed right then and there. So we're excited. I mean, it's again, as soon as we solidify the venue, we'll be the first to announce it, and we're really excited. So
absolutely, and then we'll have the coaches decide on who's in that all-star game by the competition. You can nominate your own guys, and then the other coaches say, "Well, I don't know about that." So, as in if that person should be in, but it's when we've had it in the past. I mean, every all-star that's been in was a legitimate all-star that should have been in that game. So it's very fun. I mean, getting away from it, I wish I wouldn't have, because TJ bringing it back in, this is very important for these kids.
Well, and I think what Eric and I talked about is trying to condense it back down to the 18 teams. So again, it's not watered down. We're going to get really good talent, and when you get to around, like, we call them dudes, right? They're dudes that can play, and they police themselves, and they know if they deserve to make the all-star game or not, right?
100%.
I mean, it doesn't become a popularity contest at that point. It's like, that guy, he raked all summer. He should be playing ahead of me.
And everybody knows it too, because the word gets around like anything. It's
and we'll have hopefully Nick, our other partner, will be out and help with stats and some stuff that we'll keep adding to the website. So, and what I want to do is just make sure that, and I think for the most part, the coaches that are out there, I know a lot of them that they're not going to pad their stats and cheat their stats.
No, right.
Yeah, and so it's going to be legit, and then we could all get together as coaches and kind of vote, and it'll be fun. It really build this league, because we're just such a mecca of baseball that a lot of the pros live here in the off season, and a lot of their kids are playing high school and college. So it's something that this collegiate league can really get name on the map, and then get back to what I was going to say is when I played in it years ago, it truly was an invitational.
Right.
Like you had to be invited to play.
Correct. Right. Correct.
And that made it a little bit more exclusive and like,
right.
yeah, I earned it. I earned being here.
Right.
And so then that's what I think that we'll get back to, and we'll just start
Yep.
getting the best of the best. And that's
Better
what
players.
we want. That's what our players want. There's been times through the years that we've gone out and we know we're playing a team that just at the time, whatever had happened, they were
Yep.
3-14.
Right. You're thinking, oh, here we
go. A lot of
Yep.
guys quit or something.
Yep.
Anything could happen. It wasn't
Right.
that the teams were that bad. It just, but losing.
Yep.
It's contagious.
Losing
right?
is contagious. 100%. I was just going to say that.
So to get back to like the first year, I thought it was you as a coach and as an ex-player and competitor, we're all very competitive and we're anxious to like get it on. And sometimes you
Yep.
look over that other dugout and like, oh man, these guys don't even want to be here.
I know they're jumping around doing nothing. Man, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, no, it should be. It'll be good. What's nice too is that we've established a lot of teams putting in their own team, like for you guys, and it makes it so much easier because those guys already know each other. The coaches know them. I mean, we have some teams that we form 3 or 4 maybe, and it could be a crapshoot. Team could be good, team may be good, but for the most part, when teams put in their own team, which I love, it makes it easier for me, makes it easier for the coaches, makes it easier for the players because everybody kind of has that gel already, and it makes it so the competition is so much better. Knowing, hey, this team's playing this team, and we know that's going to be a good game because we know. So it's been and over the years, that's been the majority of the teams in the league have been teams that have put teams together on their own instead of us signing up through the league and then we put them together, which we love that.
Yeah.
All right, very good. So last question here, Eric. So I'm a kid, I'm in the league, I'm on a team. What can I expect? Maybe my parents going to a game. Can you talk a little bit about facilities, umpires, concessions? Is there a charge at the door, at the gate? So now I'm in the league. What are some things that I could expect here?
Absolutely. Well, I'll start with the facilities we use is Salt River Field, which is the Diamondbacks Rockies. Usually we have the Rockies side, which is the Clover, and we have 3 to 4 fields. They're always very awesome shape. It's hard to find a better place. Sometimes a little hard because the guys leave early, just not watering it down. But the location, the facility is amazing. I mean, TJ, you can probably say that.
Yeah.
Salt River. And then we have Legacy, Bell Bank Park at Legacy, and that's the artificial turf. It's over in Mesa, Queen Creek. It's actually the first year that we used it was last year, and we started the games a little bit later. Normally our game times are at 5 or 7:30, depending on the schedule that day. So we started there about 6 and 8:30, thinking, okay, we don't know how this is going to be as in hot because we've never used it in the summer. And can't really base it this year because this summer was, I don't remember too many days over 103. So we're going to try to do that again when we're over there. I think majority of our games will be at Salt River. And I'm trying to, and we could talk about this too, put all night games over at Legacy. Just to make it to where if it is too hot, then we'll have to worry about it radiating. We'll have someone coach that's not part of the staff.
Cool.
And for charging, there's usually, there hasn't been any charging that we for fans to get in. I know Legacy does at during the weekends, and I don't think it's during the summer. We had no charges last year. I think they just know that, hey, during the summer, it's not that many, people coming in tournaments, so they're kind of against like, we won't charge.
Yeah, we had a pretty good. My team specifically had a pretty good following. A lot of the parents were there almost nightly, and you could say that for most of the team. So you had a pretty good turnout.
Yeah, it was.
And there was never. One of the things that I don't even know if I've talked to you about it, but we'll talk about the facilities. Facilities are phenomenal. The fields are phenomenal. It's a luxury to play on the fields that we play on. The umpires, for me, I just said I've been coaching now for about 7 years, and the local club stuff and perfect game and all the umpires are great. They are very good, and and when you get to know them, and the other thing that builds the success of the umpires is that it's consistent. So you see the
Correct.
same guys every year, and might see the same guys, two times a week, the same crew. So you get that familiarity, and they know how you coach, and they know how I talk to players, and they know how the other coach talks to players. And one of the things that I tell the umpires when we go out for our mound meeting is, or the plate meeting is, look, man, these guys are 18 to 23 years old.
Right.
There's a lot of testosterone.
Oh, for sure.
I am completely fine with the trash talking, banter, good-willed, good-natured, competitive talking. Okay, as long as it doesn't get out of control, I don't have a problem with it. I'll police my kids.
Correct.
But we have some of those umpires that are like, you say one word and they're all over you. It's like, come on. Right. Like, these guys played together in college. They're teammates.
They know each other, right.
They're just ribbing each other, yeah. So for the most part, that goes on, and that's cool. That's a cool part of it, too. So.
And it's a new crew that we brought in 2 or 3 years ago, just making the change of the last umpiring crew that I have. And so far, the chief has been awesome. The umpire chief, he's very good with communication. I'll bring something up to him. He's like, "Oh, I'll get on top of that right away." And he'll say something to me. I said, "Absolutely, I'll get on it and make sure it doesn't happen again." The relationship, like you were just saying, is awesome, and that's what you need, because we're all in this together. We don't want umpires or kids, dictating like, "Oh, that was horrible because of that experience." And so it's been a great addition bringing them in. And the reason why I brought this new crew in, he's relatively new, past, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, and brought him in during COVID when everything was shut down, and we had the fall league for the junior college and high school league on the East Valley. And I said, I'm going to give them a try. And they ended up being, every single coach said that was the best umpiring crew that we've been involved in.
Yeah, it's refreshing. Yeah.
It is, and it's like, that's pretty cool. So it was, it's definitely, and to be able to have that relationship and talk to him, and we're on the same page every time is awesome. So,
well, I talk to them, and I'll text you two nights a week saying, "Hey, crew was great tonight.
Right.
Just want to let you know, John and Bill, whatever their names were, they were
or when it was bad,
yeah, a couple times,
yeah, oh yeah,
but I think they get excited when the talent's out there.
Oh, 100%.
And it ups their game. I mean, I'm not going to mention a name. I coached a high school event a month ago, and I'm not joking. The first base umpire was staring at his phone the whole game.
Oh.
We had a guy on third. I'm coaching third. Fly ball to left. Alex was there.
I was coaching first,
right next to him. And our kid left way early, and I looked over at the field umpire, and he was looking at his phone during a play.
How does that even happen?
Yeah, and I almost like part of me, I just wanted to say, yeah, he's out, but I didn't want.
Well, of course not. You're not going to say,
right.
Nope.
Yeah, and
we were actually wishing one of us had his phone number so we could text him.
Pay attention.
Hey, pay attention.
Well, that is too funny. I don't think I've ever seen that.
No, and I texted the commissioner of that league and said, "Hey, the home plate guy was awesome. The field umpire, I'm not joking, college there was football going on. It was a Sunday.
Oh,
so
okay.
he's probably
looking
at his DraftKings or something.
Fantasy. Yeah. That's funny.
But yeah, no, the umpires are great. The facilities are great, and the overall talent is there. And I think that keeping it down to 18 teams this year would be phenomenal, and it'll get more of a invitational feel where these kids want to come.
Correct. And I wanted to, when you said about the talent, about the league, I want to kind of really throw this in. This is what my motto has been for running this thing from the very beginning is, you know what? Hey, you're going to come in and play. I mean, it may not be the whole game. You're going to get ABs every day. If you go 0 for 20, you're going to still get back in there, because that's what it's about. We're trying to get you ABs. We're trying to get you playing time. I mean, if you go to a different league, and I never downplay anybody's league. I'm all for other summer leagues, whatever it is. I mean, you go to the Northwoods, which is the best league in the United States for baseball. I mean, as far as I know. And if you go 0 for 10, 0 for 12, I mean, you may get cut. And then what are you going to do, right? And that's why I try and present to everybody is, hey, everyone struggles, but I don't want you to think that, okay, as soon as I strike out this many times, I'm done. We want you to get back in there and get that confidence back. So that's kind of the main thing, is that we want these guys to know that they're coming here to play. They're going to get 50 to 80, 60, how many ABs you can get, how many innings on the mound, out in the field. So that's kind of the big target that I want to make sure. And it's going to be competitive too. We don't want to just, you're going out there striking out over. So that's.
Yeah, my thing is I always had about 12 position players, knowing that one of them might not be there that week, vacation, family vacation stuff. But I might only bat 10, but those other 2 are going to hit that game. Yeah. So we'll go twice through the lineup, and then those 2 pop right in front. Everybody plays in the field, in and out. So if you're a position player, you're going to play every game.
That's what it's, because you want to show up and not play. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, you're taking time, you got drive. So
yeah, and those 2 guys that weren't in the lineup on Tuesday, they're in the lineup on Wednesday.
Yep.
So I got 2 other guys sitting until they go through twice in the lineup. And I tell them, but now look, when we get to playoffs, it's going to be a little bit different story, because we're here to win. The season is to get reps and get you experience with this level. And but when we get to playoffs, everybody wants to win, so it's a little bit different. But
and you get to play more. Yeah. Keep
absolutely
going. Yeah.
So we're excited. Bloodline's excited to be a part of it. We believe in it, and it's when you have passion for the game and passion for young athletes and trying to get them to the next level and getting them as much good experiences as they can get. It's one thing to be big fish in a little pond, as you know, like you just said, going to ASU. I tell these kids, like, you guys, when you go to a D1 program, I mean, you're basically going to Navy SEAL camp.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
It is a different lifestyle, and it does not change. Your waits this time in the morning to breakfast, to class, to practice, to class, to maybe meetings at night. I mean, it's a grind.
It's the D1 is, I mean, it's the elite of the elite. I mean, it's like the pyramid, right? I mean, you get to the D1, the higher up, the power fives. It's like, you know what? Hey, there's other guys are going to take your spot. So it's not easy. And there's a lot of schools, and going to smaller schools isn't a bad thing.
No.
And that's what these kids think, right? I'm not going to a big D1. I'm not D1. I'm not, it's not, no, it's where you fit in. I mean, there's been pros that have gone to schools that some people have never even heard of.
Well, I didn't see they announced the Hall of Fame tonight. Did Wagner get in?
I didn't see it.
I didn't see it.
That dude pitched D3.
Right.
And he might be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. He will eventually.
Yeah, they were going to announce it tonight. So that's
that's the way. And that's what these kids like. I mean, I have all daughters, and they're all talking about. Yeah, these kids are. I want to go D1. I want to go D1. I'm like, I never said that. I'm like, I just want to go somewhere I can play, right? And, and obviously, we think pros is the way you want to go always, but I never thought D1 was the place, because I was thinking the junior college route and then hopefully get D1. So, but I mean, it's different. I mean, social media has changed everything. Everybody sees it, that instant gratification, and it's a good and a bad thing, as we know.
Yeah, and we were lucky, and so was Alex in Southern California, that the junior college circuits that we both had, all 3 of us had, were good platform.
Yeah,
a good springboard, because there were guys like, I just think when I played, I played against LaDuca and Noah Peary and
some dudes
Brian
there,
Luton's.
for sure.
I mean, Brian Luton's, like all these. There was 6 or 7 guys that went to Arizona State, went to Omaha. Rory Tarquinio went to Kansas with Wycheck from Brophy. They went to Kansas, went to Omaha. Another kid went to Stanford. I mean, it's just there was guys getting drafted, and I mean, and I went to NAI in California, and I'm like, man, these guys throw slow out here.
I know you're thinking, and so you were prepared.
I was
good
used
to go,
seeing
though.
gas,
Yeah.
and you know,
Yeah.
Albie Lopez was at Mesa,
Yeah.
and so it was big boy baseball from the get go, and so
That's good,
that was a luxury that we had here in Arizona and Southern California. So,
And that's
so
the
yeah,
best part is that we
just
so
go
much,
somewhere
so
and you
many.
play.
Yeah, and that's what it is. I mean, and you'll be found. If you're
Yeah.
good enough, you're going to be found, as we all know. I mean, that's the famous line. Hey, they're going to find you.
And they can't find you on the bench.
That is correct.
Right.
And if you're, hey, I'm D1, but I'm not playing.
Yeah. So
the,
wrapping up, it is Arizona azsummerball.com is the
Correct.
website.
Yep.
And we'll get that up and going, and we'll have some new stuff this year with some stats and standings. And what I'm hoping is at the All-Star Game, Home Run Derby, we have a program that's going to be made.
We will have program. We will definitely have program.
We'll have that handout that these kids can have them for the rest of their lives.
Absolutely.
You know, we're going to give out some awards, really cool that night, and it's going to be a cool thing, and we're just going to get bigger and better and make this league it's already been great. Trust me, and it's just going to
can always be better.
Yeah.
You could say it. I'm with it. I think it's got all the potential in the world, and we have the people in it. So I think the help out of you guys is going to be great. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, great. We're looking at June 5th ish start.
Ish, right? Sometime in that. If it's not June 5th, it'll be sometime later in that week. Let's say the 7th, 8th, just to kind of get things going. But we're starting a week earlier than we normally do because of. I don't think we talked about the schedule that we talked about was we were going 5 games a week. We're going to shrink that down to 3 to 4. And spread it out an extra week.
Yeah.
Instead of going 6 weeks of 5 games or whatever that stretch was, 6, 7 with the 7th would be the playoffs. We're going to stretch it out to 7 to 8 weeks, but play less games during the week because of pitching. As we all know, the pitching is always the tough part.
Yeah, and what we're hoping to do, and again, we're lucky that we don't. Weather's kind of the second thought that we think about here in Arizona, but. Is as soon as the season's over, we'll hit that Home Run Derby All-Star Game, and then we'll go right into the playoffs. And the playoffs, the way it's going to be structured, is only going to be a week.
Yep.
Right?
Single elimination. Yep. Just because it gets too tough with pitching at the end. Single elimination, I think everybody by the end is done. I mean, as you know, it's like, all right, this was a grind. If we keep going, great. If not, hey, we totally understand. And I really have had no issues with the single elimination.
Yeah, very cool. So azsummerball.com.
Yep.
It's the Arizona Collegiate Wood Bat League. Eric Doble is the owner commissioner. We're happy to have him here with us, and we're excited to for Bloodline to be kind of joining with them a little bit and building this thing, and we're pumped. So you can reach us at all our social media. We got Bloodline Sports AZ is our Instagram. BloodlineSports.co is our website. Our Twitter is at Bloodline Sport singular, and we have a YouTube channel which is Bloodline Sports. So you can reach out to us. Is there a way to reach out to you, Eric? Is there an info at? They can email you.
Yeah, there's support at AZ. Yeah, I mean my phone number is on the website. We have Matt Fredette, which helps me out as well. He's kind of the back end guy. He's not involved as much. Yeah, and you can reach out to him. He's very good at communication. All of it's on the website. So everything's on the website there. And for more information, there's it's support at azsummerball.com. Come straight to us and get back to you right away.
Yeah, and we're looking for Bloodline. We're going to have 2 teams this year. We're really excited. We're excited that
awesome.
The other coaching staff that's going to be on the other team, our other team is looking exciting as well. We'll announce that later. But if you guys need to if you can't get on our teams, we can help you get on another team because we know all the coaches, and through Eric and Matt and myself, we can get you guys placed. So feel free to reach out to us. We still have some spots, so Obviously, we always need arms. It seems like I got 18 middle infielders every year.
Oh yeah, every
And
year.
so,
Or it's all outfielders. It's one or the other.
right. So we're gonna. I want to have my returning team, hopefully, because this will be our third year together, so we're excited. And we've gone a little bit further every year in the playoffs. But if we get to town, we might have a draft. We don't know yet, but we want a big. We can have one unbelievable team, I think, or I think we can have two very, very, very good teams. So we're excited with that. So reach out to us, and we'll help you guys get hooked up with the league. We're excited, and we're 5 months away, so we got to get on it, right?
It's going to be here before we know it.
Professionally has something to do with someone I knew from baseball, or it just because we take care of each other, and like I said, it is a fraternity, and so
forever. You remember for the rest of your life.
And that's the one thing why we started Bloodline was to try to get as many kids as we can the same experience that we got.
Yep.
And playing college baseball is it's hard to describe it. If you've played it, you understand where we're coming from. It's something that you'll have for the rest of your life, and you get an education playing the best game in the world. So that was our goal here, and so that's what we're trying to do at the league. And with Eric having it as long as he had, and I mean this with all sincerity. I've never heard any bad thing ever said about Eric Doble, and that's why I reached out to him to see if
my wife's in the other room, so I can let you know.
Yeah. But thanks, guys.
Appreciate that.
This will be put on all our social media soon, and reach out to us. And we're excited. Come June, we'll be playing some big boy baseball.
Absolutely.
Thanks
all right.
For your time, Eric.
Thank you, Alex. Good meeting you, DJ. Appreciate
it.
it.
Take care, guys.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.